Welcome to another episode of the House Huddle Podcast. Here are your hosts, Rob Schwartz and Justin Onayemi, two Bears fans who decided talking into a microphone was better than shouting at their television.
Welcome in, House Huddlers. Huddle up! Man, we're on a roll. I'm Rob Schwartz. Bear goggles on. My good buddy, Justin Onayemi.
Good to be here.
Yeah.
Episode 73.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to change out our stuff.
This is part 2 of a 2-part episode. So if you just now are joining House Huddle for the very first time, first of all, welcome. But second of all, go back one episode and listen to part 1, where we looked at what the 2024 offseason might look like if the Bears go kind of the continuity route. This episode is if change is a-coming. So episode 73, who's your player?
We got Jamarcus Webb.
That's right.
You guys remember him? Big old 7th-round draft pick.
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
6th or 7th.
7th round. I think it's 7th rounder. Jay Cutler's blindside protector. And the only thing I remember about him is Jay Cutler gave him a shoulder check on the sideline one time. That's it. Because he wasn't
highlight of his career.
He wasn't bad, but he wasn't good. But he wasn't Charles Leno good.
He's huge.
He wasn't Braxton Jones good. That's why I think, it was just size.
Can't coach that.
So. No, you can't. So, episode 73, the Jamarcus Webb episode. Like Justin said, this is part 2 of a continuity series. And just to recap a little bit of what happened last week, last episode, we talked about what we were going to do should Ryan Poles decide to keep Matt Eberflus and Justin Fields. We went through free agency, including signing in our own players. And then we also did a 2-round, technically a 3-round mock draft, but we didn't actually pick the 3rd player.
But we got a boatload because with the continuity route, the number 1 pick that comes via the Panthers, we didn't have to we didn't have to replace Justin Fields with that.
Right.
We're able to trade back. And so we were able to accumulate quite a haul, I would say.
We did. Including
some very top level players that you would say are potential blue chip type players.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how realistic the simulator was, but just again, a recap. By the way, hit the subscribe button. I keep forgetting to talk about this, but we are still trying to give away a free jersey. I refuse to just not wait. The end of the season's here. I might just decide, let's just give one away. We are trying to get to 750 subscribers.
Yep, 750.
Okay? We hit the 500 mark. Guys, I applaud and appreciate everything that you guys are doing to help support our channel. I love the comments. I know I've been kind of MIA. December was a bit of a rough month for me with vacation and work and the holidays. I'm sure everybody understands. I also have another vacation coming up. This will be our last episode prior to 2024. So Happy New Year!
That's right. Happy New Year.
I'm going to be gone for a good amount of time. So I don't know, but I think we need a break anyway.
Yeah, we could come up on a break here.
Yeah, so
there's going to be a lot to talk about in the offseason. We'll make
right.
sure to still deliver some content for you all.
That's right.
So speaking of the offseason, you want to take us into what this might look like?
I forgot to recap. So the simulator tried to give us the Arizona Cardinals moving up from 2 to 1. We got their 1st-round pick, which was 2. We got their other 1st-round pick, which was 16. We got their 2nd-round pick, which was 34, which
quasi 1st-round pick,
as we said with the Chase Claypool thing,
That's
right? Basically a 1st-round pick, and then we got a future 2025 1st-round pick. I don't think that's really going to happen in reality, but we had 6 offers, including the Patriots, who were at 4 that wanted to give us their 1st this year, 2nd this year, 3rd this year, 1st next year, and I think it was a 2nd next year. No matter what, you're getting a haul.
And then still we're able to take Marvin Harrison Jr. with that 2nd pick.
That's right. Marvin Harrison Jr. We got it too.
Our own pick, the Bears pick, we were projecting at 8. It could be a little further than that, but it was 8.
It could. We got Joe Alt, guys. My top left tackle right now in this draft. I had Olu ahead of him. Going back and looking at tape more, I've now put Alt ahead of him, but they're both in the same tier. I don't think you could go wrong with either.
With 16, interior defensive lineman Newton out of Illinois.
Whew. Kind of 3 tech.
Next to Dexter, next to Sweat.
Yeah.
next to a potential free agent that you bring in.
And Billings, yeah.
It's starting to look like a really fierce unit right there.
And then we got the top center in the draft, Van Pran, out of Georgia.
While also accumulating, as you mentioned, draft capital into the next draft as well.
Yeah.
So
okay,
we're going to compare that to what we're about to do in this episode.
Right. And I think this episode is going to be much, much faster. So if you guys it's going to be much faster. The last one was like 35 minutes. If you're not one of those people like stick around, this one should be about 20, 25 max.
We do have to hit the brakes at one part, though, that we didn't have to in the last episode. If we're just going to flat out say that this is the changes that come in, that starts with replacing Eberflus. So we'll talk briefly, although we might a much deeper episode you've hinted at.
Yes.
For if the potential of replacing a coach comes.
I would love to do a coach's episode. Yeah. I think we're trying to make that happen. We're trying to get our buddy Bob Weiss on the show and make it.
We think it will. So, but in this scenario where change is coming.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about who they hire.
No, but potential who's out there.
I mean, is Jim Harbaugh an option? I don't know. He's not talking about it, but that doesn't mean he's not. He tried to become an option last year for Minnesota. He could go to the Chargers. Who knows? We got the offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, out of Detroit.
Don't forget Bieniemy
out of
although I think things have fallen off
Washington.
A little bit there. And you still look at some of the success in Kansas City, and you want to say how much of that is Mahomes and how much of that is Reed.
That's true.
But early returns in Washington were looking pretty good, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Sam Howell's had a up and down year, but I mean, there's games where he just looks lights out.
Yeah.
Seattle, Shane Waldron, their OC out there. I like him a lot. I know a lot of people like Slowick out of Houston, but to me, I think it's too early for him.
Now, can I just really point out a very obvious thing right off the bat?
Yeah.
Is if you're going to Harbaugh, you're going to a guy with a track record, not just where in college, but in the pros
of winning
and pissing people off, but winning first. But
stay out of it, George. Stay out of it.
All the other guys you mentioned, you're bringing in a first-year coach, first-time head coach, which is what you got with Eberflus, which is what you got with
Nagy.
Dick Duran, Nagy, Trustman, Lovie Smith.
But we also got to John Fox, and he went 5 wins?
No, that was the one example of hiring a veteran.
Right, I'm saying with the opposite.
I know. I'm just saying Bears have been known to bring in these new guys.
Yes,
and
Mike Ditka.
We're hoping this roster is one where it's like, hey, we're ready to go next year, even if that is with a rookie quarterback.
Yes.
All right. So I think you could go either way.
Some defensive-minded ones. Dan Quinn, he's got some experience. Could
Flores
be an option. Brian Flores, I would love that. I'm not a defensive-minded guy, but I would love Brian Flores.
Can I throw in one more random thing, and it could be a little bit of a meatball take?
Is it Zach Smith, the OC out of Miami?
OC?
Yeah. I think it's Zach Smith.
Okay. Another possibility. But let me just throw one more out there, and I'm not trying to sound like a meatball, but is there a Bears or 2024 Bears coached by Bill Belichick, coached by Mike Tomlin, of those type of ideas?
I would not be trading for a coach unless it's a day 3 pick, something that I just don't care about.
Right.
And I don't think that's going to be what it takes.
Well, I didn't know if Belichick getting here would come through him being released.
Right. Possibly Belichick. I would not want Belichick here.
And I'm not saying I
Tomlin, though, I would take in a heartbeat.
Okay.
If he was like readily available, like I would take Tomlin.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So let's say those ideas are out. Are you going Harbaugh, or are you going with a first-time coach, OC, hot OC candidate?
Harbaugh's been my guy from the very beginning. I think that's the way to go.
And this is a program we think might be at that win stage now.
Yeah.
And he can take you from that to a contender.
Another throwing it way out there name, Dave Toub.
Okay.
Special teams coach.
Yeah. Has Bears connections too.
Yeah. Out of and look at John Harbaugh. Like special teams coaches can do a pretty good job. And Sean Payton was here. I think he was originally a special teams coach.
I'm not sure of that. So if you bring in Harbaugh, we think he's coming in as a CEO type.
Yes.
And he would bring in an offensive coordinator to work with a brand new quarterback.
Yeah. And I'm looking into that a little bit more for if we do get that coaches episode. I said it in the last episode, my guy that I'd like to see as a coordinator would be Clint Kubiak. But I don't know if I don't think there's a connection between those two. Yeah. So I don't think that would.
Well, we don't have to go that deep on this. Point is, you're getting a brand new regime with a hopefully somewhat ready-made roster, but huge changes coming at that signal caller position.
Right. And we're getting rid of Luke Getsy either way we did in the last.
Even in our continuity episode,
yes,
he was
even with keeping
out.
Matt Eberflus. Now, here's the one thing, though. In this situation, we are also moving on from Justin Fields. Okay? I am a huge Justin Fields supporter. Justin is a Justin Fields supporter. The show is a Justin Fields supporter. But you can't not say that he doesn't have flaws. I mean, we've talked about it. Like, we're objective on it as well. I mean, he does hold the ball too long at times. There's times we're watching the games together and Justin's great at it. Throw the ball. Even your son, Julian, get rid of the ball. Throw it. Throw it. And it's like, if you have those moments, like, that's a problem.
He doesn't even throw it sometimes when he's like headed out of bounds. But anyway.
I know. But he plays hero ball at times.
Now, let me point out something, though, for the way we're viewing this episode.
Okay.
If we move on from Fields, I think we should also, I don't know if this does a good simulation for trading a player.
It doesn't.
Okay, so we won't worry about that. But that would be something that you'd have in your pocket is
Yes.
getting draft capital for moving on from him.
Yes.
A lot of teams that don't get a Caleb Williams or a Drake May might be interested in a Justin Fields.
Yeah, we're getting a second-round pick minimum for Justin.
So we'll just keep that in the back of our mind. But what I also want to point out is it doesn't
switch
mean...
to PFF.
No.
Okay.
You don't have to.
All
but
right.
I'm just saying we'll keep that in the back of my mind. But what we also have to remember is you can't just compare whatever quarterback they move on to what Justin Fields would be next year and think if this guy isn't what Justin Fields would have been, then that's a lost cause because you're coming on a rookie deal now. That's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
So we're also looking at what will this guy be in 3 years?
Yes.
In 5, that kind of thing.
But at the same time, that also means that we're slowing down the rebuild a bit.
Maybe.
It's possible
CJ Stroud jumped right in with not as talented roster.
No, and no one knew CJ Stroud was going to be this good. Like, I have said it multiple times. He was my top quarterback last year. I said it last year. You can go back, check the tapes. He was my top quarterback over Bryce Young, but I never would have thought he would be the option over Justin Fields. I didn't think he'd look the way he looked. And this is why people want Slowick as a head coach. I pumped the brakes on that because he's a defensive-minded guy who started offense or doing play calling for the first time with Houston. I just get nervous about those like 1 year type wonder situations. Like,
agree.
Or how much of it is the play calling versus how much maybe Stroud's just that good.
Right. Okay. All right. So with last episode, free agency, I think is going to look pretty similar.
Yeah. Cody Whitehair is gone.
And you got to sign Jalen Johnson.
And sign Jalen Johnson. Eddie Jackson's on the bubble. I think we just got to see if we can replace him at safety. Otherwise, we just hold on to him. We pay him because they have the cap room. And you try to replace safety in the following year. Yeah. But you got to get some depth. It's just the free agency market is just not that great at the safety position.
So we're going to enter this draft with the number 1 pick from Carolina. We're still going to have number 8 as our pick. Yes. We're not going to bump that up. No, but in this route where you're moving on from Flus and moving on from Fields, maybe it's because you looked horrible these last 2 games. As of us recording this, they haven't yet played Atlanta. They haven't yet played the Packers. Both teams which have an interest to win, by the way.
Right.
So it's possible the Bears could lose these 2. And if you lose them in ugly fashion, maybe your pick goes from right now at 8, maybe it goes all the way up to 6 or 5.
Yeah, I'm not looking at the other teams' schedules, but okay, so the teams in front of them are the Tennessee Titans, LA Chargers, and the New York Giants. Okay, those are 5, 6, and 7. Say they do play bad in these last 2 games.
Maybe you're 5th.
You might, jump all the way to 5th because the Bears' strength of schedule is way lower. It's a better strength of schedule for tanking to move ahead of those 3 teams. So,
but just like in last episode where we said maybe they could have been a little later than 8,
we're just going
to they're going to go a little earlier, so we'll just stay at 8.
One thing I do think we should do though for this episode is Atlanta or the Raiders, who's trading for
Justin Fields?
Let's just say we get their 2nd round pick and we'll just call that a wash just for this episode.
Okay.
And we'll just see where they're at and who's available at that pick, and we'll just kind of throw out
who would you say? Atlanta?
To me, it's either Atlanta or Oakland. Vegas.
Well, they're now saying Denver.
Denver is a possibility.
Benching Russell Wilson.
That's true too.
So anyway, but I like your idea.
All right, let's just go Atlanta. It's that.
Okay.
It's been Atlanta forever. He's from Atlanta.
There. I could see it.
Let's just go Atlanta. And Ryan Pace drafted him, and Ryan Pace is there.
That's true.
All right, let's get this started. We are going.
You want to just do 2 rounds?
Share my screen.
We won't go 3 this time.
No, there's no reason. We don't need to at this point. And to be honest, like I said in the last episode, I have not gotten through more than the first 25 to 35 prospects. Not even like in order, but like I just look at certain positions that mean something to the Bears to start, and then I build off of that. Why? Okay, this is it. Okay, share my screen. Boom.
All right.
Okay, so we got the Bears, 2 rounds. Let's draft.
All right, we're already on the clock.
Boom. And Atlanta's looking for a quarterback. Hey, Atlanta, we got Justin Fields. How about you give us your 2nd round pick and your 4th round pick, and we'll call it a day.
Sounds good.
Reject.
All right, we're not taking this trade, though. Probably not taking any. I just want to see.
Oh, I went too fast.
You did go too fast. Because dropping down 2 could be an option.
It could be.
We're not doing that.
But I'm not doing that.
No. If we're moving on from Fields and you got the chance at the number 1 pick, I think you got to use it. And I'm kind of curious what the rest of the draft looks like when you do that.
Correct.
You got to hit this. So you got to be confident that Caleb Williams is a generational talent.
I don't know I think generational talent, and I've been the one to echo chamber everything that I heard at the beginning of the year, and also after watching some of his highlights and stuff. When he is on, he is on. But so is Justin Fields. So he had a rough year this year, but he doesn't have a lot around him.
I mean, I'm just saying, I would hope if you're making this move, you feel he has a higher ceiling than Fields. Now, granted, Fields is closer already to that ceiling.
I think,
and you have to pay him for it.
Here's the thing. Because Fields is already in year 3, and we've seen what we've seen, and Caleb Williams is a fresh product that we're hoping can develop with a whole new coaching staff.
Whole new regime.
The ceiling has to be higher.
Yes. And so you're taking him here. You're expecting not only is that ceiling higher,
yes,
but that the likelihood of reaching it is higher.
Yes.
And in essence, I guess you're saying the floor is about equal, but also probably higher.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I will tell you the one difference that I see on film from Caleb Williams versus Justin Fields. Anticipatory throws to guys who are not wide open.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have the receivers that OSU had when Justin Fields was there, where guys were just completely open. Now, he does hold the ball too long. He does fumble the ball. And he's smaller. So he's not going to be able to run the same way as Justin Fields. But he has the traits to be one of the top 5 elite quarterbacks in the NFL.
Okay.
Drake Maye is a good quarterback too. Do you have an argument for taking Drake Maye, or are you good with me just
I do not
righting the ship here?
I do not. I mean, he's a little bit more from the pocket.
Yes.
Which is, I know there are people who think if you're moving on from a player, it's oftentimes good to go a different route.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the way to look at this.
Are you concerned
with
the
the
fact
guy
that he
you think
paints
is
his
the
nails?
No.
Are you concerned with the fact that he cried to his mom?
No, none of that.
Okay.
But let's go Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams.
All right, let's see. We also have number 8. Drake Maye is going to go 2. He went to
Is there any reason to trade up?
No.
From 8.
Before Marvin Harrison Jr. just went at 4, so no.
Joe Alt's still there. Olu Fashanu is still there.
Since both
Brock
are there,
Bowers is still there.
Since both are there, let's see if we can get one.
I don't want any of them, to be honest.
Alt.
Okay,
they're all tackles are gone.
Okay, we got trade offer here. Ew, get out of here. Reject. I don't even care what your offer is. No, let's look at it. Do we want to move down to 12?
What were you saying, though, about you were looking at a certain player, maybe? Bowers? Bowers would be interesting.
So Bowers is still available, but because I think we need to get Caleb Williams another wide receiver, I think wide receiver is the way to go. The number 2 wide receiver on my board, Malik Neighbors out of LSU, is gone.
Yeah, he did go.
He went at 6 to the Chargers, which again doesn't make sense for the simulation. But again, Packers, if you're trying to give us 12, we would be moving down, 4 picks? Mm-hmm. And then we also get a 2nd rounder. Let's just see what the other offer is. Oh, Atlanta. But are they going to be making this trade because they already gave us?
No. Well,
but do we make this trade because then we actually get their 47 picks and then it's just automatically ours?
All right, and we'll just say that was the Fields.
Yeah.
And we picked a little later.
But do we, I mean, I don't know. Do we want to go Bowers here, or do we want to go one of the receivers?
Who's the receivers on the board?
So Keon Coleman and why don't I not see him here? The guy out of Washington. Yeah. I can't say his name. I'm going to say it wrong. I'm horrible at names, guys. It's not Adunze. I think it's Nigerian, actually.
I can't see it.
Odunze. 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 Yeah.
Okay.
Either way,
Okay.
He's the top receiver available, or you go Brock Bowers. But
What are you leaning?
If we trade down to 10,
you can get either one of them probably.
We'll probably get one of them.
Okay. And then we'll get that second that we'll say is for Justin Fields.
Right.
Okay.
So let's just make that Atlanta trade real quick.
All right. So who went? Daniels went. And another tackle. Okay. So let's reject.
Yeah, I don't think we need to take any of these. 27, 22, 25. All too low.
All right. So this is the Bears pick, we'll basically say. Plus you scooped something for the Justin Fields trade that we didn't really do.
Yeah. So we're going to take the wide receiver out of Washington. I think Brock Bowers is an awesome, but like if you don't have.
And you like what you see out of Cole Kmet.
Although I did say there's a pretty good wide receiver free agency market. If a decent amount make it to free agency.
What do you think about Bowers coming off a major injury? Non-factor or factor?
I mean,
let's take the receiver.
Yeah, let's just take it.
The other one, it didn't give us a grade last time, but it had to be an A. I mean,
that's because we didn't let it play out all the way.
Okay. But this, since we said 2 rounds, it might give us one.
Right. All right. So it's going. Our next pick is 47.
The Fields one. Likely they would have traded up, especially, are we seeing if center is going to be there?
I don't think a center is going to go in the first round. Van Pran maybe.
Still in the first.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we are getting into the second.
Bears don't have a second. It's what they traded to get Montez Sweat.
Correct.
Which I'm very okay with.
Yeah. The guy has been lights out.
Now we're up. Center is still on the board. That's not a lot right there. That's the only offer.
Yeah, it's to move back 3 and you only get a 7th round pick. No, thank you.
All right, is Van Pran available at center? Did he go?
No, he is there.
Okay.
That's our pick. So basically, to move Justin Fields gets you a center, you get Caleb Williams, and you get him a receiver to pair with DJ Moore.
Another big difference here, you are most likely saying that Braxton Jones is good enough to be our starting left tackle.
Yes.
Unless you address that through some other type of trade or free agency.
Yeah. I guess we
do like what we've seen out of him.
Yeah, and I guess Pro Football doesn't grade drafts.
Okay.
So,
but
I think the next time we do some mock drafts, we'll have to go with Pro Football Focus.
Okay. But obviously this whole thing will be judged on how good Caleb Williams is in a new regime and how good that regime is.
Yeah.
But that team is ready to win.
Yeah.
I mean, rookie quarterback, can they take you to the playoffs? Sometimes. You see it every once in a while. But that roster is ready to win, and you have draft capital for the future.
Yeah. And that offensive line is going to get better. With that center, you're going to go get a guard just to have backup depth for Tevin Jenkins and Nate Davis.
So
Darnell Wright is coming off a fantastic rookie year. I'd rather, with a rookie quarterback, have a Braxton Jones, I think, than a rookie left tackle. Like,
that makes sense.
Makes me a little nervous that way.
All right. So which scenario did you like better, looking at what next year's roster would be and a 3 to 5 year forecast?
I think everyone's already knows my answer because I've kind of alluded to it over the last few months.
Mine is keeping Eberflus, maybe.
Yeah. I'm not sold on the keeping Eberflus part.
Right. You could,
knowing that Luke Getsy is for sure gone in my scenarios, I'm going to still lean that way because Eberflus is also learning how to coach, learning how to win.
Is there a bring in Harbaugh, but Fields is the quarterback scenario? Is there a bring in the hot OC, Ben Johnson, and Fields is the quarterback?
It's only if those guys are wanting it.
And wanting the draft haul that you get for trading that number 1 pick.
That's the thing, though. A lot of guys do want the draft haul.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the movie Draft Day. Okay, everyone says it's a crappy movie, but like that guy said, I already have a quarterback, right? Like I already have Tom Welling's character. I'm blanking on his name at the moment. It's sad that I know him, but he's Superman in Smallville. I don't need the fancy quarterback in Bo Callahan. Get me my running back, okay? So in this scenario, you're getting Justin Fields, Marvin Harrison Jr., who we talk generational talent. That's the guy,
right?
Okay, you got the defensive tackle out of Illinois. You got Joe Alt. You got your center.
And
that's only in the first 2 rounds.
And if you decide not to franchise tag Fields, give him the 5th-year option, all that. You got multiple firsts next year.
Guys,
You got it all.
if Caleb Williams doesn't hit, and there's been the Ryan Leafs, the
Yes.
Jamarcus Russells,
Yes.
right? If he doesn't hit,
You're right back where you were.
you're worse off. You're worse off. And here's the thing, like, and I've had arguments about this. There's more ways to build a team than one, but like, you're giving yourself an out for 2025. And we didn't get a 2026 first in that scenario, but there's always a guy.
Right,
There's always a guy.
right.
Look at Deion Sanders' kid isn't coming out in the draft this year.
Shador
He'll be
Sanders.
available next year. Like, there's always a guy.
Right. And you'll have the capital trade up if you need to. So I think after seeing it all play out, I would like the continuity route or some blend of that.
And
Basically, keeping Fields.
You don't pick up the 5th-year option, but you hold on to Fields. You
Right.
draft a guy. Boom. Who's the quarterback? If it is Fields, who cares that you didn't save $20 million for a season?
Right. Yeah.
You sign him anyway.
An element that we didn't bring up, and I'm just going to say it now. Please. Hopefully there's going to be a lot of comments.
Leave comments. I
you
love
might,
the comments.
You might feel totally different than we do. But one thing I'll say is when we're doing this fantasy football style, just by a draft simulator,
Yes.
that's not the same as actually taking a guy who some see as a leader out of a locker room.
Correct.
Fields has the respect of the current team. This
Yes.
current team feels they're ascending. They're
Yes.
showing it. They're showing it too.
It's why Jalen Johnson is saying he wants to stay.
Exactly. And so there's that element as well. So this won't be easy for Ryan Poles. We're doing it fantasy style and love the continuity option.
Yeah.
But we want to know what you think, and we definitely want to know what Ryan Poles thinks.
If you like our draft scenarios from either last episode, this episode, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you don't like it, leave us a comment. Tell us we're stupid, but hit the subscribe button so you keep coming back and telling us we're stupid. Because there's trolls out there. Come on, I don't care. Subscribe, be a troll. It's fun. I'll troll back. You'll engage.
He will.
That's the same. That's what you want.
He will. All right, Rob. Nice job, man.
Bear down.
Bear down.